Happy Halloween! Today we're going to bring you some spookily eerie new technology from Hikvision. But before we get into it, thank you for everybody that likes, shares and subscribes to our video content. Make sure you continue to do so. Without you guys, this channel would not be worth doing. I'm Ditech, CTO at DVS, and today we're checking out the brand new Hikvision Access Control Intercom. I've given you a brief introduction to this previously, very brief, when we had the face recognition intercom panel a couple of weeks ago. If you rewind yourself back a couple of weeks ago, you remember that cool outside external Vandal proof grade face rec intercom core panel. I did introduce this at the time. For those of you that do want to know the part number, this is the part number. Let me just turn this white light off so you can see that is the part number. These are on order. They are sort of ordered a couple of weeks ago, so they're not long before they're due into stock. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one a few weeks ago to start to do some testing and feedback, and today we're going to show you what it's all about. So what's in the box, I hear you say? So in the actual box itself, we have the brand new Vandal resistant intercom access control with fingerprint. Is that way up? I had it the wrong up. So camera, keypad, card reader and fingerprint access control terminal. On the back you can see there's a cover where all of the connections go in, and I'll show you that shortly. There's a bracket that fits in the back of there to allow you to flush mount only. But again, Vandal proof. I think it's IK08, but I will check. It might be IK10, but I will check. Oh no, it is IK8, IP65 IK8, so I was right. The old memory still works. But again, there is two versions of this. I've got the full build. So underneath this flap, there is a fingerprint reader. It's the new style fingerprint reader. Rather than the infrared, we used to put it in there and do the fingerprint. This is like the ultrasonic style. You don't have to have it. We've ordered more of the non-fingerprint with just a reader on it, because fingerprint technology is technology that isn't used as much since COVID. We found for access control purposes, people don't like to touch stuff. They've moved away. They just use card, pin, etc. But there are two versions available. So IP65, IK08 Vandal resistant. In terms of size, that's an iPhone 11 Pro. So you can see there, not much bigger than an iPhone Pro. It's a bit thicker, of course, but a similar profile to an iPhone 11 Pro. So it's a small unit. It has a tamper built in on the back, so there's a tamper button. If this is removed, it will generate an alarm, and then you can action it. Secure socket on the back, a cover, which is where all the cables connect. And again, we'll take it out and take a look, I guess. Weighs, I don't know, it's quite hefty. It's really strong construction. I wouldn't want to be hit on the head with it, for sure. You can feel, it's a strong old unit. I'd say 1.52 kilograms, something like that. So yeah, we're going to get it out now in the box as well. So like I said, you get the back plate. The back plate simply, this way, connects into the back there. So you hook it in, connect it in there, and there's a secure screw on the bottom to secure the plate in. So that you'd fit this on a wall. Again, it is surface. The cable would come through that hole on the back there. No flush mount kit currently. And then also in the box you get the manual. You're watching this video, you're the lucky ones. For those people that don't watch the video, they need that. You guys don't need it. So you have the RJ45 LAN connector, which goes in the back of there, which is the fly lead for your PoE RJ45. You have your cable looms, power loom, screws and plugs, and a drill template, plus a security screwdriver. So we're quickly gonna, there is a little screw in here which you do need to secure that back plate onto there, so don't throw that away. But again, you've got a power one, so that on this you've got a power. Again, if you want to use DC 12 volt, You've got on the lead itself, Weekend, the lock, normally open, normally closed, RS45, 12 volt DC, alarm in and alarm out. So there the cable looms, and they're on like those pre-punched IDC connectors effectively that you just click into the back. I will show you. What I do need is a little screwdriver, which I stupidly forgot. So I'll get that. So, little screwdriver. Just to remove that access cover. There we go. Don't lose the screws, Dave. So you can see on the back, you can see the cover. That connector goes in there. Make sure you give it a nice big push and it's located in. That is located in. Then on the back, you can see where the other IDC connectors go. You can see how the cable comes out and then into the cavity if you connect it in, a back box or cavity. You've got the preset alarm in, alarm out. It is labelled on the back there, look. You can pause it if you want. There is also a SIM card slot. Interestingly, there is a SIM card slot there. Don't know if it's in use. It may be for future use. We'll find out in a minute. That's interesting. I didn't know that was there. Okay. You've got the speaker hole there. And then you've got an output for the microphone. Small little microphone next to the camera and a speaker outlet there. Next part for us is to get this on the network program here. Web browse into it and see what it's all about. It is sort of a standalone unit really, so standalone access control, very cost effective, as most things Hikvision are. UKCA, if you don't know what UKCA is, everything from the 1st of January 2023 that we import into the UK needs a UKCA sticker. We'll do a separate video on UKCA so people can understand it, especially those that are from outside of the UK and want to understand the implications or their risk design, etc., that they need to adhere to. We'll do a separate video because it's quite important to bring and highlight that to you guys. Okay, so give me 2 minutes, we'll power this up, put it on the network, I'll transfer you over and we'll see what this bad boy's all about. Okay, so I've put the device on the network. One thing to note is I did make a mistake. Yep, I'm a human, I do make mistakes. The device is sat next to me, actually by here, ready for the filming, on the desk. One thing I do need to note is, it's not PoE. I stupidly thought it was. A lot of the devices Hikvision make are PoE, and I just dumbly assumed, without really looking into it, that it was PoE. It's not. Needs a network connection, of course. Does have Wi-Fi, so there is the ability to add it via Wi-Fi if you want. But you do need to power it up with a 12 volt DC power supply, 1 amp. So all I've done is powered up with the 12 volt DC power amp, put it on the network. I've already activated it using SATP, put the password in, and I've enabled HiConnect and added it to my HiConnect app already. Didn't want to show you that part. It's really boring. You guys do that every day. Don't need to do that part, but I will walk you through it. Before we jump into the configuration, it is web-based. These new units, the older stuff wasn't, the new unit is, so it's super easy to configure via the web interface. So all we've done is activated it, like I said, IP address, and now we've got the web interface ready. Again, here's the spec sheet for it, for if you want to look. Interestingly, the box, just to show I'm not lying, does say IK08 on there. The spec sheet says IK09, so I am going to double check that with HQ. If it's IK08 or IK09, we'll go for the lower denominator in this instance. But again, it's still IK rated, and IK08 is still fantastic Vandal resistant property. IP65 for all our weatherproof needs. Again, so you can see here, 2 megapixel camera, the field of view. Supports Wi-Fi, like I said. There is Bluetooth in there. I've turned it on, but I can't find it on my phone. So maybe I need to speak to HQ on that. But it's certainly enabled, but I can't find the device name currently on my phone. But we'll keep trying. So I'm really interested in that Bluetooth function. Lock control exit button, door contact, alarm input, alarm output, tamper, RS485, WeGAN for an external card reader and an SD card slot. Fingerprint capacity, card capacity, event capacity, fingerprint module, MyFair, support two-way audio, support iConnect, and the 12-volt 1 amp. IK09, like I said, there's the dimensions. I will clarify that because the box clearly says IK08. Okay, so moving on. Here is the standard web interface. Recommend you update the unit before you... Make sure I got the right password. Before you go any further, make sure you go on the Hikvision UK Europe portal, check out the device, make sure it's on the latest firmware. For those of you that care, that is the latest firmware here that I've highlighted. That's on the Hikvision website. So search the device on the Hikvision website and you'll see the firmware ready to download. You can see it's up to 10,000 users, or 100,000 users, sorry, cards, fingerprints and events. I haven't added any users. Part of this tutorial today is going to quickly show you how to do that. Again, that's the Bluetooth name. I certainly can't find it on my phone. I'm just going to quickly look again. I got it on iOS, on the latest iOS. Definitely doesn't come up in other devices. So I'll speak to HQ on that to see. Maybe it's not compatible with iOS, which would be stupid really, wouldn't it? But we'll definitely check that out. I'll leave that in the background, do some searching. But that would be the name. Time settings, where you set your time settings. Clocks went backward yesterday in the UK. DST, about. Maintenance, all the usual stuff. Reboot, default. Unlink the HiConnect account. I've already linked it to my HiConnect account. I can unlink it through the web browser. Export the device parameters and update the firmware, which I did earlier. Log query, all of the different log stuff in there. Security service and certificate management. Again, if you want to use that. User management. There's this users, network users who can log in. Online users. And then arming, disarming. I haven't added it to IMS 4200 or Hike Central. Compatible with both. But again, if I added it, it would tell me which one of those and what the IP address has armed it. Network, basic settings. So there are my basic network settings. There's my ports. I can change them if I need. Wi-Fi, I can enable it, find it, add it. SIP and report strategy. The report strategy is more reporting into a software like Hike Central, for instance. I'm not going to talk about that now. And then advanced platform access. ISUP, we support ISUP add-in for Hike Central or Hike Connect, which I've already done, enabled, it's already added. HTTP listening, again, if you want to do the HTTP for the event listening, and we support HTTP and HTTPS for that. Video, so we've got the parameters you can set there, and with the audio, you can set the camera mainstream or substream, but leave it as mainstream, and then the input output volume and voice prompt. So the unit will give you feedback based on an action. You can turn that off and you can turn the input and output volume down as required or up as required even. Image. Simple image, so 720p image effectively. Great image, perfectly adequate for an intercom unit for its access control purposes. And you can adjust brightness, contrast, saturation and sharpness. Supplement light, it got built-in infrared on this unit. I don't know if you can see, but I will try to show you here. Cables wrapped around the flipping door handle now. There we go. I'm trying to show you. Do you know what I just did? Yeah. So if you look on there, can you see there? There's the infrared LEDs are there and there. I was trying to show you through the image of itself, the infrared, but there. 2 infrared for black and white for low light usage, and you can set it to disable, on or automatic. Nice and simple. Event, so basic event. You can add event linkages, event linkage, card linkage, employee ID. So I could say an event linkage, any of these. I could do a card linkage and put the card number in, card reader 1 or 2. So the built-in card reader or the external WeGAN reader on the other side of the door, perhaps as a read-in, read-out, or employee ID. Again, simple. Select it, select one of the predefined events, And then what do you want to do? Link alarm output, capture linkage, trigger recording. Super simple to do, and you can add as many of them as required. Now under the recording, so record audio when recording video. So of course, that's not always something you want to do, and again, it's based on region and lots of legalities on that. But a lot of people will want to record the video on this, so you can add the camera to a normal NVR. So the camera module inside this access control unit can be added to a standard NVR DVR and can be recorded. So you get another additional camera covering, I guess, the front door. So if anyone comes up, tries to break in or causes a nuisance, mischief, etc., the camera video is recorded. Built-in microphone. Do you want to record the audio? Yes or no? You can turn that off, and then the pre-record 15 and 10 seconds. Again, general, so these are, you've got main card reader and sub card reader. So the sub card reader you connect on the RS-45 output on the back of here. There's a Wiegand and RS-45. You can connect, you can use the output to connect to Hikvision AC. Don't really know why you do this, to be honest, but it is possible to connect the output of this to a KT range access control to 1, 2 or 4 door controller. So you hardwired it with a cable into there, and then that gets added to the software. Just add it as a network device. It's already a network device. Don't really see the benefit in that, but it's possible. Maybe in an interlocker scenario, it's possible, you know, if you want to use it in that sort of setup. But again, you can add it a second reader, so you have read in, read out, or you can add it as an ACU door input. Don't know why you do that. Really don't understand people who do that, but it's possible. So main and sub. And again, we've not added a second card reader to this, but it's really simple. Just follow the manual. So card readers enabled. Fingerprint card. So these are the authentication types. So you want fingerprint card and password. Fingerprint, like the one we're going to focus, fingerprint card or password. But you can do ands or ors. Authentication interval 0. Alarm of maximum failed attempts. You could put 5. And leave that off, and then that would report that to the software. Enable tampering detection. Of course, you want to do that. Enable card number reversing. You can have that on or off. And open door via Bluetooth on or off. It's off by default. I turned it on to try and get it to work with my phone. Can't get it to work. Currently, we'll come back to that. Privacy. So event storage is overwriting. So delete old events periodically. Specify time or overwriting. Picture uploading. Yes. And then clear all pictures in device and clear. Face recognition parameters, access control mode. That's the only mode. You can leave that. Card security. And this is where you can add or change these parameters. Nice and simple. Now, enable NFC card is enabled and Bluetooth enabled. And I still can't find that device on my iOS Bluetooth. So again, something that I need to look into. Card, and you can enable these as required and change the settings. Most people aren't going to do any of this, by the way. Card authentication settings. Full card, Wiegand, 26 to 34 bits. Default is 34. Up to you what you need to do with it. Intercom, like I said, it is a full intercom system. Would I use it as an intercom? Yeah, I'd probably add an indoor station to it, or maybe a couple of indoor stations, where if my card or fingerprint or passcode doesn't work, or nobody answers the High Connect, then you can call the indoor station. This unit is able to be added to High Connect. As I demonstrated earlier, and as I will demonstrate it fully, it is added to High Connect already. So I can directly call High Connect through this intercom unit. Fantastic function and feature. If you are going to use an indoor station, don't directly add that to High Connect. Just add the indoor station to High Connect. There'll be a bit of a conflict because both units at that point will try and call High Connect should you add them both. So just use the indoor station. But again, this is very familiar. For those of you that have used the Hikvision intercom setup before, super familiar. Session, so registration password is required, and it has to match from the master station to all the indoor stations. And then you tell it what the IP address is of the software, etc. Call settings, number settings. So this is for like SIP calling effectively. The SIP is not great, I'm going to be honest. We're working on that now, and we should have a much better solution very soon. Next menu down is access control. So again, this is where you can set it is an access control terminal, don't forget. So you get the functionality of the open, how long you want the door open for, door timeout, door contact, open or closed, exit button, open or closed, extended open duration, duress code, super password, elevator controls. Now, I'm not going to focus on that, but it is supported. RS-45, you can enable RS-45 or turn it off. card reader, extension model, access controller, or elevator controller. You have to pick what you're connecting to it. They say access control, like we talked about earlier. Don't see why, but the default is card reader. Extension module is the like secure module where you can fit that inside and release the lock. So if somebody does break this off, the secure module is fitted inside. Weekend, so I can enable it. After enable it, the device will enable the weekend function. Okay, it's an output, not an input, so you can't connect a reader using weekend, only the RS-485. All of our Hikvision readers support RS-485 bus. This is more of an output, and again, you can connect that into certain things. Time interval, pulse width, etc. I'm going to turn it off because we're not using it. And then smart fingerprint false alarm acceptance rate, the FAR. False alarm acceptance is how sensitive the fingerprint reader is, and you can adjust it parameters. I would leave it as the default. If you are having sensitivity issues, adjust it up and down as required, and that's as simple as that. Done. Device management, that's specifically around Intercom. Those of you who have used Intercom, you'll know all about where you go to add, type in indoor station or subdoor station, fill all the parameters in there, bam, it'll add it, and that's how you create your Intercom system. If you haven't done this before, same principle, go check out our other videos on YouTube. Super simple to do, super reliable, very, very effective. Now, back to user. The bit we all really want to see is how to add a user. So click on add. So employee ID, I'm just going to call it 1. Name, Ditech, mail, user visitor block list, user floor 1, room 1, linking an indoor station perhaps. Start time and end time. So I've got quite 10 years effectively, but I can adjust the valid period of my user using this start and end time. Access controller, am I administrator or not? And then you've got authentication. Authentication type, same as device or custom. So if I want to put custom against the user, I can specifically choose a different profile for that user based on the device settings that we set earlier. I'm going to leave it the same as device for now, but you can change it per user, which is a really helpful function. Again, so much functionality in these devices now. Next one, add card. I have my MyFair 1K Prox card. Super simple, add card. I'm going to click read and present it next to the built-in reader on this unit. So read. Read it, and I can do normal, patrol, dress, super, or dismiss. Normal card is fine. Click OK. So that's done. I'm going to add a fingerprint. And again, using my grotty fingers, I bite my nails and the skin. I'm terrible for it. But add fingerprint.
Press your finger. Press your finger again. Press your finger again. Fingerprint collected.
You can hear the feedback. That unit gives you audio feedback. Now I've added my fingerprint. Press complete and press OK. What have I not done? There's a parameter error on this for some reason. Okay, I found the issue. It didn't like Edge for some reason doing that. So what I'm going to do is use Internet Explorer mode. You can see it. So quickly add a user. So I'm going to add a user. Ditech. Don't need to do that. That enables the time period, or I can turn it off. Same as device. So add card again. Read. Okay. Add fingerprint.
Press your finger again. Press your finger again. Fingerprint collected.
Completed. Add that. So now the unit's added. Simple. Just use it Edge in Explorer mode or IMS 4200. You wouldn't have had that issue. Next part is the operation. Interestingly, if I select it as a visitor, you've got visit times there. So I could put 10 times. After 10 times, it'd lock them out. They couldn't visit anymore. That's a cool little function that they've just added. So I just thought I'd point it out. But we are actually going to leave that as a user. And you can add as many as required in there. So simple to add, simple to do. Fingerprint card or... So I can use... Remember I put card or fingerprint or PIN. The PIN code. If you've got an indoor station, you can use the PIN code that's associated with the indoor station. Or you can go to configuration... And actually, under access control, duress code. If you use the super password there, you can put that in there, save it, and use that to get in as well, so everyone can have the same passcode effectively. And then if I go 112233 hash, the door's open. There we go. So that's done. Super simple to use, and you can put anyone you want in there. So I think I just change it again, click save, done. That's about it really. So the user's added. If I go to search, you can see, you can hear it just about, because I've got it on the desk, of course.
Authenticated.
There you go, that's better. And again, if I go to next page, you can see there's me there. That's where I added myself. Super simple to do. So the logs there, and you can search it, see it. Tons and tons of logs in there. View events with a recorded video. I don't have an SD card in there. I should have put one in there really. But again, there we go. What else do I want to show you? Yeah, fingerprints. If I take my finger and do the same. So I use my fingerprint on there, look.
Authenticating failed.
Nope, wrong finger.
Authenticated.
There we go. And you can see the green light changes on there. Again, with the card, built-in reader here.
Authenticated.
And again, if you want to call HiConnect on your phone, super simple to do. Press 1. That's actually now ringing HiConnect, look. So put that down.
Please talk.
Hello. You can see through there's HiConnect, so I can see myself. Hello. Hello. I turned it off because of the feedback. But I can also open the door by pressing that one there.
The door is open.
So using HiConnect, super simple. And again, if I had a... Close that down.
Talking ended.
If I had an intercom, intercom unit, I could dial it, press it, and it would call the intercom as well. So the only thing you do have to put, you may have to put a little plaque on the door, because it hasn't got an LCD display. To call HiConnect, press 1 and the call button, which will call HiConnect. So that may be something that throws people out. But again, it is super simple to use. That's basically this new device. So HiConnect can work with IMS 4200 Hike Central, can work as an indoor station, call-in indoor station, part of an intercom system. IK08, maybe IK09. Does have Bluetooth, it appears, but doesn't quite work, but I'll figure that out. And that's it, really. So hope you enjoyed the video. I will do a follow-up on this when we get them in stock. We've ordered them. They're due into stock, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, I'd imagine. I'll do a follow-up on there because I'll try and get that Bluetooth working and do another little patch. Other than that, thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.